Alright guys, this is 3-1 in advanced geometry. Today we're finding some slope. It's all review, so determine the slope that contains the given points. And remember the slope formula. M stands for slope. Slope is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And just to refresh, remember this is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. So what I need you to do is give me a little m equals right here to say the slope, and let's do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we got minus a minus there, which becomes a plus, and then we'll do a little 2 over 1, which is just plain old 2. And then we like to tell if that line is horizontal, vertical, or oblique. Well, every horizontal line will have a slope of 0. So since this guy's slope is 2, he's not horizontal. Every vertical line slope is undefined, so that's not undefined either. So this is an oblique line in that situation. It's oblique. Let's find the slope of the next dude. So we'll do a little m equals negative 7 minus 5 over 1 minus a minus 2, which that's negative 12 over 3, which that totally reduces to negative 4. And since we didn't get 0 or undefined, that's an oblique line. So that guy is oblique. Finding the slope on the next guy, we do a little m equals 3 minus 1, y2 minus y1 over 3 minus 0. And we get ourselves 2/3. And since that's not undefined or 0, that's going to be an oblique line that goes up from left to right since that's a positive slope. And we'll do that on 4 here. The slope, negative 4 minus a minus 2, so it turns into a plus, or 5 minus a minus 5, so that's going to be negative 2/10, which that can totally reduce to be negative 1/5, and that is an oblique line. And just keep it on. The slope on the next one, 9 plus 1 over 3 minus 3, which is going to be 10 over 0, and uh-oh, that's where we run into problems. The first commandment of mathematics is thou shalt not divide by 0, so this needs to simplify. It simplifies to be undefined. But that means that since that's an undefined slope, that's a vertical line in that situation. Vertical line. You're going to have to memorize that all vertical lines have an undefined slope. And on the last one here, the slope will equal 6 minus 6 over negative 1 minus 4. We get 0 over negative 5, which that can happen. You can take 0 and divide it by negative 5. You'll get 0. You can't divide by 0, like you can't have 0 downstairs, but you can have him upstairs. So all horizontal lines have a slope of 0 in that situation. So that's old school finding the slope. Y's are on top. Next guy, we can find the slope of a line that's given to us. We just count. That's going to be a rise over run situation. So we count from one point to the next. Here's the point N. Here's the point P. We can count rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6 over 8, which can reduce to be 3/4, and that is totally a positive slope because of the lines going up from left to right. So m equals 3/4. And this guy, he's going to be a negative slope. You see how that guy's going down from left to right? So find your 2 points and just go down 2. So down 2 means that's negative to the right one. So the slope is negative 2. And this guy, he's a vertical line. His slope is undefined. And the reason why is because there's totally no run. If you pick any 2 points on there, like if you call this point A and you call this point B, you could rise 1, 2, 3, 4, but run nowhere. There is no run. So, that is not cool. That is an undefined slope. So the slope is undefined. Doing a little counting, rise over run. Now some story problems. Finding the rate of change. One thing that always boggles students' mind is if I ask you to find the slope, they can do it, but if I say find a rate of change, they don't know what to do. Rate of change and slope are the same thing. So here's a little story problem. In January 2015, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had 38.38 million Instagram followers. Then in January of 2018, he had 98.16 million Instagram followers. Find the rate of change. So what we're going to do is we're going to write two ordered pairs. So let's use the first bit of information that I give us here. Ooh, look at that beautiful color of a highlighter. Let's change it to orange. In this first bit of information right here, I need a time first. Time is usually your X value. So in 2015, and we were in January of 2015, and so was the other information. So we can just straight up use the year 2015. He had 38.38 million Instagram followers, so I can just use that decimal. And then the other ordered pair would be 2018. He had 98.16 million Instagram followers. And to find the rate of change of that, we totally find the slope. So the slope will be y2, 98.16 minus 38.38 over 2018 minus 2015. And we do a little punching in, 98.16 minus 38.38. And that's 59.78. And that's over a 3-year period. So let's think about what this is saying here before we finish this out. This is 59.78 million Instagram followers over a 3-year period. Well, when we do a rate, we always want it to be over 1. So we're going to totally just divide this out and just get ourselves a decimal. And I guess that's approximate. So we'll need to say approximately 19.93. Since they were using 2 decimal places, we'll do that. Million what? Like the question is who was upstairs and who was downstairs when it comes to labels. So upstairs, wasn't that our followers, right? How many followers they had on Instagram, and downstairs was years. So 19.93 followers per year is what that's all about. That's what happened. There was an increase because the slope is positive. Like the rock had an increase in that 3-year period of about 19.93 million followers per year. So there's a story problem. Let's do another story problem. Before it was demolished, the RCA Dome was the home to the Indianapolis Colts. For those who don't know, that's a professional football team. The attendance in 2001 was this much, and the attendance in 2005 was this much. What is the approximate rate of change in the attendance from 2001 to 2005? So let's write two ordered pairs. 2001 is a year, and here's the big old honker attendance, 746. And the other ordered pair was 2005, 457, 373. And let's find the slope. The slope will be big old boy, 47. Write down a little bit too, so I'm out of this. Let's just erase that. Let's do that. Let's just erase that. Meow meow. 4, 5, 7, 3, 7, 3 minus 4, 5, 0, 7, 4, 6 over 2005 minus 2001. So we go to the calculator. 4, 5, 7, 3, 7, 3 minus 4, 5, 0, 7, 4, 6. Boutros, 6,627 over 4. So since they want a rate of change, we'll divide it by the actual 4 and kind of see what's going on. So that is 1656.75. Then we need to throw the label in there. What was upstairs? It was the attendance, and usually that's people. So people per year was the attendance in that situation, and the attendance went up.
On to the next problem here, where in 2000, Jefferson High School had this many students, so I can write that as an ordered pair. We always put time as the X, so 1125 students. By 2006, the student body had increased to 1425. What is the rate of change? So we'll find it. We'll do M equals Y2, 1425, minus Y1, 1125. Over x1, 2006, minus 2000. So upstairs, if we punch that in, 1425 minus 1125 is 300. And then downstairs we got 6. So 300 divided by 6 is 50 in that case. So we will say that it increased by 50 students per year in that case. So that's the rate of change.
All right, and then determine whether line AB and line MN are either parallel, perpendicular, neither. Justify your answer. So they give me all these ordered pairs. Here, they want to know about line AB and line MN. First, let's talk about what parallel lines are. You should remember that parallel lines have the same slopes. Parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. Please spell reciprocal right. If you need to pause the video to write that down, you can. But opposite reciprocal, remember what that means. Like opposite means change the sign, and reciprocal means flip me over. So the opposite reciprocal of 2/3 is -3/2. This guy's positive, that dude's negative. If I give you like -4/5, the opposite reciprocal of that is a +5/4. You have to flip him over and change the sign to do the opposite reciprocal. So these problems are all about work shown and organization. We want to find the slope of line AB, whammy, and the slope of line MN. If they are parallel, they will be the same slope. If they are perpendicular, they will be opposite reciprocals. If they are neither, they will not be the same nor be opposite reciprocals. So let's try it. Here's how we show our work. We're going to find the slope of two different lines. So first we'll start with an M for slope, but since we want to find the slope of line AB, we're going to make a little subscript of line AB. That literally says the slope of line AB. That will equal, let's do us a little y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I haven't said it yet in this video, but you got to show all this work. We're not doing this in a calculator. You must write it down. If I write it down, you write it down. So I think you know that by now. -10 over 5. The slope of line AB is totally -2 in that situation. Now, what we need to do is find the slope of line MN. So that's how we write that. And if the slope of line MN is -2, they're going to be parallel. If the slope is +1/2, they're going to be perpendicular. And if it's none of those, then they're neither parallel or perpendicular. So let's see what happens. Line MN's using these 2 points, M and N, and that would be a -1 minus 7 over -2 minus a -6, which is a plus. -8 over 4, which needs to simplify to be -2. So are these lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Being as how those are the same, bro, they're parallel. Justify your answer. 2 words. Same slope. That's all you got to do. You got to tell me that they're the same slope. That's how you know they're parallel. The work is our justification, and here is basically like how we knew that. Those lines are parallel because they have the same slope. So let's do that on 14. Squiggle! Find the slope of line AB. Bum, bum, bum. And that would be -5 minus 4 over 2 minus a -1, -9 over a shui, which is a -shui. Let's find the slope of line MN. I didn't switch colors. I would like to. So the slope of line MN is a 0 minus a 2 over a 3 plus a 3 in that situation, which is a -2, 6, which we usually call that -1/3. So let's talk. Are these guys the same slope? Absolutely not. They cannot be parallel. Are these opposite reciprocal slopes? No, they are not. This dude's negative, this dude's negative. They're both negative, so they're not opposite. Even though 3 and 1/3 are reciprocals, you have to be opposite reciprocals to be perpendicular. So this is a neither. And a lot of people struggle with the reason of why they're neither. It's actually the easiest. I'd ask you, how did you know it was a neither? And you'd say, well, they're not the same slope and they're not opposite reciprocal slopes. That's exactly what we write down. We write not the same slope and then use the word nor opposite reciprocal, which needs to be spelled right, slopes. The magic word is slope. It's got to be in there twice. Those were neither parallel nor perpendicular because you didn't have the same slope or you didn't have opposite reciprocal slopes. There is an E in slope. Check this word out. That's slop. We're not talking about slop. We're talking about slopes. So let's try 15 right here. Let's find the slope of line AB. That's going to be 2 plus 7 over 4 plus 2, and 9 over 6, which needs to reduce to be a Schwie halves. Find the slope of line MN. That would be 6 minus 0 over 2 plus 2, which is 6/4, which is a 3/2. Bing! Same slope, parallel. Double the L, parallel. Reason, same slopes. So homies, only one more problem left. Why don't you pause the video and give this guy a try.